What you are about to hear is a story that is shaking the foundations of the British monarchy. A story that started behind closed doors and has now become impossible to contain. Hello, friends. My name is James, and you are watching Royal Daily Report, your number one source for the most exclusive and most shocking royal stories on the internet. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now because tonight we are covering a story that is making history in real time. And if you have been with us from the beginning, you already know. We never hold back. We never pull back. Let us get into it. King Charles has just signed a new rule. And the moment that rule was revealed, everyone knew exactly who it affected first. This is not a routine update. This is not a minor adjustment to palace procedure. This is a decision that will change the future of the royal family forever. The rule is simple, but its impact landed like an earthquake. Any child who wants to stay in the royal line of succession must be raised full-time in the United Kingdom under direct royal supervision. No exceptions, no shortcuts, no special treatment. And the moment those words were made official, everyone in every royal circle in the world said the same two names at the same time. Archie and Lilibet, Harry and Meghan's two children, born and raised thousands of miles away in California. Children who have never attended royal traditions, never lived inside the palace structure, never had any real connection to day-to-day royal life. With one signature, King Charles had drawn a line, and Archie and Lilibet were on the wrong side of it. Inside royal circles, sources say this was not just a routine update. It was a message that the monarchy was moving on, a message that the next generation, or at least some of it, would be chosen carefully. And for Meghan Markle, this hit deeper than anyone else. Because for her, this was never just about titles. It was about belonging. It was about recognition. It was about making sure her children were seen as part of the story she believed they deserved to inherit. But this rule told her something she never expected to hear so plainly. The monarchy decides who belongs, not her. And this was only the beginning. Before the dust even settled, another shockwave hit. King Charles introduced a second rule, and this one cut even sharper than the first. Only the children of active working royals will remain in the line of succession. In other words, only the children of royals who show up for duty, serve the crown, and represent the monarchy in public life would hold their place. Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal duties in 2020. They made a choice: freedom over royalty. And now, years later, that choice had come full circle. Their children no longer fit the new system. Behind palace doors, advisors described it as a structural update, a clean, organized way to slim down the monarchy and protect its future. But in Montecito, sources say it felt like something else entirely. A quiet punishment, a stripping away of the last thread connecting Meghan's family to the crown, a reminder that decisions have consequences, and a warning that the royal family was no longer willing to bend or twist its rules to keep the Sussex branch included. This was not personal, the palace insisted, but to Meghan it was impossible to see it any other way. Because for the second time in a matter of days, a rule had been written that pointed directly at her children. And it was written in permanent ink. Just when it seemed the situation could not escalate further, another move emerged from inside the palace. This one quieter, colder, and far more unsettling than anything that had come before. A formal clarity review. Normally, these reviews are simple checkups, small teams verifying paperwork or updating records behind the scenes. Routine, unremarkable. Nobody pays attention to them. But this one was different from the very start. According to insiders, the people assigned to this review were not just office staff or archivists. They were constitutional experts, legal advisors, historians, palace officials specializing in succession law. That combination only appears when something is seriously disputed, when a situation carries long-term consequences for the crown. The review focused on everything connected to Harry, Meghan, and their children. Birth documentation, medical confirmations, paperwork that should have moved automatically but did not, timelines surrounding their departure, eligibility requirements that had never been tested before. It was not a hostile investigation, but it was thorough, detailed, methodical, the kind of review that slowly removes anything uncertain and reveals anything that does not add up. As the monarchy tightened its rules, another force rose quietly behind the scenes. Prince William. For years, William stood in the background, learning from his grandmother, watching his father prepare for the crown, studying every political storm the monarchy survived. But now insiders say William has stepped into a far more decisive role. He is no longer simply the future king. He is becoming the protector of the institution. Sources close to the palace say William has little patience for anything that threatens the stability of the family or the legacy he is set to inherit. And after years of public drama, the interviews, the accusations, the explosive documentaries, William's tolerance has worn thin. He is described as firm, focused, and completely unwilling to bend. According to those familiar with the discussions, William is prepared to make hard choices, including supporting the removal of titles if doing so protects the monarchy's long-term future. One advisor put it in language that was impossible to misunderstand. William will cut a limb to save the body. And he does not see this as vengeance. He sees it as responsibility. Where Harry stepped away, William stepped forward. Where Meghan challenged the system, William reinforced it. Where Charles began reshaping the monarchy, William is preparing to finish the job. The message behind closed doors is clear. The crown cannot carry instability into the next generation. Not under William, not under the future king. While William strengthened his position, Meghan began preparing for something far more confrontational. A legal battle. Sources say Meghan has spoken with lawyers in both California and the United Kingdom, determined to examine whether the changes in succession rules violate the historic 1701 Act of Settlement, an act that has shaped royal inheritance for over 300 years. To Meghan, the timing of these new rules feels targeted, personal, deliberate, like someone is trying to erase her children from the royal picture entirely. She believes the palace is changing the rules because of Harry and Meghan's departure. The monarchy insists the changes were long overdue. But either way, Meghan is ready to fight. Legal advisors have warned her that challenging the monarchy is never clean or easy. A lawsuit does not stay private. It does not stay contained. It forces everyone involved to give evidence. Real statements, real documents, real proof. And that is where the danger begins. Because if Meghan moves forward, Harry will be forced into the one place he has spent years trying to avoid. Choosing a side publicly. Standing with Meghan means standing against his own family in court, under scrutiny, with no turning back. Standing with the palace means breaking the bond he promised never to abandon. For Meghan, the fight is about recognition. For the monarchy, it is about order. For Harry, it is about choosing between two worlds that cannot exist together anymore. The battle has not fully begun yet, but the lines are already being drawn. Now the storm sits directly over the royal family, and the crossroads is impossible to ignore. On one side, the monarchy is reshaping itself. Rules rewritten, titles redefined, succession realigned. A clarity review digging into the past with quiet precision. King Charles is no longer bending. William is not compromising. The palace is closing ranks. On the other side stands Meghan, determined, furious, prepared to fight for her children's place in a world she believes they were born into. She sees the rule changes as erasure. She sees the clarity review as invasion. She sees the distance between London and California growing deeper every single day. And standing between these two worlds is Harry, a prince without a home base, a husband trying to protect his family, a son watching the gates of his past close tighter and tighter. Sources say Harry feels the pressure building, the choices becoming sharper, the decisions becoming unavoidable. Because if Meghan pushes forward with legal action, the monarchy will be forced to respond in ways that expose everything. Documents, testimony, private history, unspoken moments the royal family has kept hidden for generations. And once that begins, there is no returning to peace. This is the moment before the break. The moment the future of two royal children becomes the centerpiece of a constitutional storm. The moment a family conflict turns into a historic reckoning. The monarchy is preparing to move on. Meghan is preparing to fight back. And Harry is preparing for the hardest choice of his life. But one thing is certain. Whatever happens next will not be quiet. It will not be gentle. and it will reshape the royal family forever. Because this is not the end of the story. This is the spark, the moment before the explosion begins. That is all for tonight, friends. I am James, and this has been Royal Daily Report. If this story hit different for you tonight, hit that like button right now. Subscribe if you have not already, and turn on those notifications because we are covering every single development in this story as it happens. Share this with someone who needs to know the truth today. I will see you in the next one. Until then, stay informed, stay curious, and stay royal. Goodbye, friends.